everyone, it's your girl Seaman M, back from the dead. I don't know why I'm holding this coffee cup like it's some sort of fireside chat. Needed that. In the spirit of the season, as it is February, meaning that it is almost Valentine's Day, the day of love, or anti-Valentine's Day, whatever you want to call it, Galentine's Day, I thought that it would be convenient to do a video on relationships. As in relations that take place on a ship. Sometimes I surprise myself. Quite a few times I get the question, are crew allowed to bang the guests? And to those people, I salute you for being so forthright. And we're going to get to that answer. But first we're going to take it back to the beginning, more on, what kind of happens in the beginning? How do you forage those relationships? When you get on a ship, chances are you're not going to know anybody. It's really hard to kind of get on with somebody that you know at the exact same time on the exact same ship. So if you're just starting out, everybody's probably going to be new to you. It's almost like, and I've never actually been in this situation, but it's almost like, I would imagine, going to a school for the very first time. Or maybe it's in another province, another state. You don't know anybody. Life is a lot like school or a reality TV show. You're going to have your different categories or groupings of people. You're going to have your popular kids. You're going to have your rich kids. You're going to have your nerds or techies. Not that techies are nerds, but just saying. You're going to have your rebels. You're going to have your party animals. And I might be generalizing here a little bit, grouping people into categories, but you get my drift. Usually if you're watching a movie about high school, you have those certain categories. And I mean, if you're watching a cruise ship kind of play out, then you would see the same similar types of things. On friendships, generally your closest friends are going to be the people who work in the same department as you. And this isn't always the case, but these are the people that you're going to be around the most. You're going to hang out with them 24/7. So I mean, it is pretty important that you get along because you're going to be in each other's face quite a bit. Even your roommate is going to come most likely from the department that you work in. Usually, if there's two of you working the same job and you're both of the same gender, you're going to be in the same room together. So if you're all up in each other's face all the time, usually you can forge a pretty good relationship that way. You're going to start to share things. You're so close that you know when the other one is going out to the bar or out in port, so you kind of tag along. And again, this isn't to say that you're not going to connect with people from all different departments. That depends on you and your social skill level. If you're someone that just goes to work all the time and doesn't necessarily get out and experience all the different people that are on the ship, then you're probably going to stay within that grouping of people that you're in. Whether you're with the youthies, whether you are with the guest relations crew, wherever you are might be where you stay. But you might be that wild outgoing person that likes to cross between all the different places. In the daytime you hang out with your crew, the people that you work with, but at nighttime you might be all over the place. You could be hanging out with the dancers, the officers, who knows? I suggest being out in the open. So when you're not working, that you do go out and you experience all there is to experience and meet the different people that you might not have otherwise met. I wouldn't have called myself like the really outgoing social party animal or anything like that. Like, I go out once in a while, but I definitely wasn't closed off either. There would be nights where I would, want to nap more than party and go back and do that in my room, but then there would be nights where I would go out as well. I wasn't really an above the radar kind of person, but I wasn't below the radar either. You knew who I was, but maybe you didn't know much about me. Now for the fun part, the love part, I think I was taught about love within the first 10 minutes of being on a ship. I was told what guys to watch out for, what to look out for, what kind of happened now that I was fresh meat on a ship. If you're a guy going to work on a cruise ship for the very first time, I hope that you're cute. I know it's like an awful thing to say, but being honest with you about, I don't know if this is statistically correct, but from my viewpoint, about 70% of the people that work on a ship are male, and about 30% of the people working on a ship are female. So if you are that 30% of females, your odds of finding a mate, that was so National Geographic meets Discovery. Finding a mate. Your odds of finding a mate being in that 30% are astronomical. You will have people like lining up for you. But being in that 70% of the male category means that you need to work extra hard if you want one of those 30%. Because there are more of you battling it out. Like, it's one big cockfight. So that's why as a female working on a cruise ship, we have a motto. And that motto is, the odds are good, but the goods are odd. And if you didn't understand that, that means your odds of getting someone or finding someone is awesome. But the chance that they're going to be an awesome person, not so much. And there are all sexualities on the ship. So if you're worried, oh, I'm gay, is there going to be somebody there for me? Absolutely, there's going to be somebody there for you. I've even seen straight men that have wives turn gay on ships. I've seen it all. Like, honestly, reality TV show producers, if you are watching this, you need to go find yourself a ship and start a show up on that, because it's amazing what you will find. I've seen people become unfaithful on ships. I've seen people have so much strength and stick it out and wait for that person back home. There is a lot of temptation on the ship, so if you are going on and you're not a single person and you do have somebody back home, really weigh in where you are in that relationship and if it's worth really hanging on to, because you will find a lot of candy. So because it's kind of this other world where it's not a real relationship, like you're not going and doing laundry together or doing grocery shopping, like everything's kind of provided for you. It's kind of like, if you ever saw that show way back in the day, Temptation Island, didn't do so well as a reality TV show, but it kind of shows you the type of relationship that you do have. I mean, you get to go off and port, your dates are on these amazing beaches, your first dates, no less. You get to go out in, you know, all these beautiful European cities and tour together, and it's all like bliss and love and blah blah blah. It's not real life. So because it's kind of this fairy tale relationship, you know, it's not always the most real. And you need to be careful if you're actually searching for something that's meaningful, and make sure that the person that you're kind of seeing is also in it for something that's meaningful. Because when the lights go out and you're back home and you are back to real life, and hey, there's bills to be paid, and I'm sick with the flu, and we don't get to go to all these fancy places anymore, we go to the movies is like the highlight. Like, are you still gonna love each other? Those are the types of people that you're going to stick it out for. And usually, most of these people that you're going to be falling for are going to be from a different country. So when the contract ends, and again, the lights go out, are you willing to visit that person? Are you willing to pay for those plane tickets to go and visit them in wherever country that they're from? Is it just going to be a fling for you, or is this something that's actually meaningful and could last and develop into something? Life is wonderful when you're on a beach and there's all these like beach bodies, tanness, awesomeness around you. So you really need to decide if the player kind of lifestyle is for you while you're on the ship, or if you are searching for something, and again, that people are on the same page with you. Which brings me to, who are you allowed to sleep with? This one should be obvious, but I guess that it's not. You are allowed to sleep with other crew if, of course, they say that it's okay and there's consent. Don't just go sleeping with them and like they didn't even know. That's called something else. You are not, by any circumstance, allowed to sleep with the guests. Now, if it wasn't apparent right away why you're not allowed to sleep with guests, let me break it down for you. They are not allowed in the crew areas. They cannot follow you and come to your room, which means that you must go to their room, which is a no-no. Basically, the understanding is that if a guest takes you to their room, everything that happens from there on out is behind closed doors. The next day, whether they consented or not, that guest can claim that they didn't consent. That's big trouble for you in that it means an automatic canning. You're fired right on the spot. Also, depending on what their claims actually are, if their claims are that of sexual assault, etc., that's bad news for you as well as the company. This could wind up all over the media, could be blown even bigger than you or I could think imaginable. So it's more for our protection that we don't sleep with guests. If you're rebellious, I mean, some people go ahead and try it, but there's cameras looking out. There's a lot of ways that you can caught without the actual guest coming forward and saying that that's what happened. So if you like your job, it's better to err on the side of not sleeping with guests. And I've also seen a couple of you post about ship prostitutes. So these may be people who aren't necessarily making that much of a wage in their current position on a ship, but are looking for a little bit of extra money. Does this happen? Well, like, I haven't personally experienced a prostitute and never really needed one. Have I heard of it happening? I've heard of it once. Do I condone it? No, but for whatever reason, that person has decided to go back to the world's oldest occupation and offer it. So that's more of their individual choice than anything. Does the company condone it? Absolutely not. But again, it's two consenting adults, one consenting to pay the other, which makes it a business. If someone were to ever find out that this person was doing it, that person would be removed from the ship immediately. However, I think people are pretty good about keeping their secrets to get what they want. So I'm sure that it is happening, but again, I've never experienced it. Nor do I say go and do that. Is it possible to have somebody at home and still be on a ship? Absolutely. If they are actually the one for you, then you'll do anything for them. But if it was more of a, we just got together, you know, it's never really been all that serious, then those are the types that I often see fall apart pretty quickly. But anything can happen. Like I said, I've seen men that are fathers to children decide that they are no longer straight. So anything can happen. Did I benefit from working on a ship? Did I find somebody that I could spend my life with? Yes, I did. And if you want to see him in a future video, then you should comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have an amazing, amazing, amazing Valentine's Day and month of February. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whether it's love-related or anything else under the spectrum of working on a cruise ship, feel free to comment below. Bye for now.